Hello everyone, and a very warm welcome back to the channel. I'm so glad you're here with us today. I have some incredibly time-sensitive and vital news for anyone who receives senior or disability benefits from the Social Security Administration. So I urge you to listen closely. We are talking about payments that the Social Security Administration is scheduled to send out on October 22nd to millions upon millions of recipients, and it is absolutely crucial that you understand if you are one of the people on that list. It doesn't matter if you're currently receiving Social Security retirement benefits, supplemental security income, also known as SSI, Social Security Disability Insurance, or SSDI, or even survivor benefits. The information in this discussion contains critical details that could directly impact your very next payment, and this is especially true given the incredibly tense and uncertain government shutdown situation that is currently unfolding. I am going to break down for you, in the simplest terms possible, precisely who is scheduled to get paid, what is changing within the system, and perhaps most importantly of all, what you personally need to do to ensure that your much-needed payment arrives exactly when it is supposed to. Now, before we get into the heart of the matter, I just need to ask a very small but very important favor from you, something that will take you literally less than 2 seconds to do. Please take a moment and hit that like button on this video. Your single click truly makes a massive difference, as it helps the video reach a much wider audience, getting this critical information into the hands of more people who desperately need to hear it. Okay, thank you for that. Let's dive right in. The single biggest question on everyone's mind is this. Are you personally getting a payment on October 22nd? The answer is that while not every single Social Security recipient will see a deposit on this specific date, a very large and specific group most certainly will. The reality is that millions of Social Security beneficiaries are officially due to receive their monthly benefits next week, specifically on October 22nd. And right off the bat, I want to share some reassuring news that should help calm some nerves. The Social Security Administration has gone on record and has formally pledged to pay out all benefits on time, completely irrespective of the ongoing government shutdown. I know that this has been a major source of anxiety and worry for so many of you who rely on these funds for your daily survival, so let me state this as clearly and directly as I possibly can. Your payments are secure and they are coming, but the crucial detail lies in understanding who, specifically, is on the payment roster for October 22nd. On the upcoming Wednesday, payments are going to be disbursed to a particular group of recipients of retirement benefits, Social Security Disability Insurance, SSDI, or survivor pay. When you consider that there are just over 70 million people in the United States who receive these types of benefits, it's important to know how the system works. Most of these individuals get their payments on one of 3 designated Wednesdays each month, a cycle that always begins on the second Wednesday of that month. Your specific designated Wednesday is not random. It is directly determined by the date of birth of the primary worker whose Social Security taxes were paid into the system and accumulated the benefits entitlement. For the payment date of October 22nd, the focus is squarely on individuals whose birthdays fall between the 21st and the 31st of any given month. So, let me repeat that to ensure it's perfectly clear. If your birthday, or the birthday of the worker whose record you are receiving benefits from, falls within that final stretch of the month, from the 21st day to the 31st day, then mark your calendar, because October 22nd is your official payment day. To give you the full picture and eliminate any possible confusion, let me lay out the complete payment schedule for October 2025 so you know with absolute certainty when your money should be arriving in your account. The first wave of payments went out on Wednesday, October 8th. This payment was for all recipients who were born between the 1st and the 10th of any month. The second wave was disbursed on Wednesday, October 15th, which covered all the people who were born between the 11th and the 20th of any month. And that brings us to the upcoming payment on Wednesday, October 22nd, which is designated for everyone born between the 21st and the 31st of any given month. That's the payment happening next week. Now, as with many government systems, there are some very important exceptions to this standard schedule that you absolutely need to be aware of, as this information is particularly critical for some of you who have been long-term beneficiaries. If you began receiving your SSDI, retirement, or survivor benefits before the month of May in the year 1997, your payment schedule operates under a different set of rules. Your check is typically sent out on the 3rd day of each and every month, regardless of what your date of birth is. So if you are someone who has been receiving benefits for a very long time, we're talking about a history that goes back to before May of 1997. Please understand that your payment date is different from the birthday-based system that I just described, and you should be looking for your payment at the very beginning of the month. And for all of our SSI beneficiaries out there, there's a unique situation this month that you need to be fully prepared for. You are actually scheduled to receive 2 separate payments during the month of October. The first of these payments you should have already received, as it was disbursed on October 1st. The second payment is scheduled to arrive on October 31st. You might be wondering why you would receive 2 payments in a single month, and the reason is quite simple. It's because the following regular payment date, November 1st, happens to fall on a weekend this year. The rule is that whenever a scheduled payment date lands on a weekend or a federal holiday, the Social Security Administration is required to send out your payment on the business day immediately prior to that date. So, for all you SSI recipients, you can expect to see that second payment arrive on Halloween, October 31st. This is incredibly important information for your financial planning, so please make sure you budget accordingly, because receiving 2 payments in a single month can easily throw off your entire financial plan for the next several weeks if you are not adequately prepared for the longer gap until your next payment in December. Now, let's address the massive elephant in the room that's causing so much concern: the government shutdown and the very real ways in which it is impacting the Social Security system. First and foremost, let me begin with the most crucial piece of good news. You will, without a doubt, receive your payments on your usual, scheduled payment date. The Social Security Administration has been very firm and public in confirming that the distribution of all benefits will continue without interruption and with no changes to the established payment dates, even while the government shutdown is in effect. This is the single most important piece of information I can share, and I wanted to make sure you heard it directly and unequivocally. However, even with that reassurance, problems can still arise. If you find that your payment has not appeared on its scheduled date, here is the official protocol that the Social Security Administration recommends you follow. First, you need to wait at least 3 full business days. This waiting period is important because it allows time for any potential bank processing delays or other minor glitches to resolve themselves. After those 3 business days have passed, your next step should be to contact your financial institution directly, whether that's your traditional bank or your credit union, to check if there is an issue on their end that is holding up the deposit. If, after waiting 3 business days and speaking with your bank, the money still has not arrived, then, and only then, should you contact the Social Security Administration to report your missed payment. They will investigate the issue, tell you the reason for the delay, and guide you through the necessary steps to get it resolved. Now, I have been seeing a lot of comments from seniors lately saying, "We haven't received our payment yet. What's going on?" Well, there could be a major underlying reason for this that is affecting a specific group of people, and you absolutely need to hear this. Paper checks have been officially discontinued by the Social Security Administration. This change is the result of a recently signed executive order from President Trump, and the final date for regularly scheduled paper checks was September 30th. This means that if you are still enrolled to receive paper checks in the mail, you are in a precarious situation, and you need to contact the Social Security Administration as soon as humanly possible. I am going to be completely honest with you here. This is going to be a bit of a frustrating and painful process, primarily because of the government shutdown and the fact that the agency is critically short-staffed, but it is absolutely imperative that you do this. When you finally manage to get a hold of a representative, you need to clearly tell them about your situation. Explain that you have historically been receiving paper checks and that being forced to switch to direct deposit would create significant hardships for you. They will then analyze your individual situation and may grant you an exception to continue sending you paper checks, or, more likely, they will ask for your banking information so they can begin depositing your payments directly into your traditional bank account or credit union account. Please do not ignore this. This is a massive change, and if you have been getting paper checks, you must take action now to avoid a serious disruption in your benefits. This brings me to the second major impact that is a direct result of the government shutdown. Customer service is going to be even worse than it normally is. Look, let's be realistic. We all know that getting help from Social Security customer service has been a rough experience for a long time. Seniors and disability benefit recipients already face agonizingly long waits, sometimes for hours on the phone, just to speak to a human being. But right now, because of the government shutdown, a significant number of staff members have been furloughed and are not working, and some of the essential employees who are still on the job aren't even getting paid for their work. So, the current reality is that when you call the Social Security Administration, you might need to prepare yourself to wait for hours, quite possibly in the range of 3 to 4 hours, just to get a person on the line. This is a genuinely painful situation, and I completely understand how deeply frustrating and demoralizing it can be when you urgently need help. Let me break this down even further for the specific groups within our community so everyone is clear on what this means for them. For seniors who are on retirement benefits, your October 22nd payment is on its way, provided your birthday falls in that 21st to 31st range. Please budget accordingly for the month. And if you are one of the people who has been receiving paper checks, I cannot stress this enough. You must take action immediately. For people with disabilities who are on SSDI, the exact same schedule applies to you. Your disability benefits follow the same birthday-based payment calendar as the retirement benefits. For our survivor benefit recipients, if you are receiving benefits as a widow, widower, or as the child of a deceased worker, you are also on the same schedule. The birth date that determines your payment day is the birth date of the deceased worker whose record the benefits are tied to. For our SSI recipients, as we discussed, you have already received your October 1st payment, and you have another one coming on October 31st. Please plan your budget with extreme care, as having 2 payments in 1 month requires careful financial management to make it through to the next payment. And for our veterans, I know many of you receive both Social Security and VA benefits. Your Social Security payment will follow the schedule we've outlined here, while your VA benefits are on an entirely separate schedule, so be sure to keep track of both. To make this as clear as possible, let me give you a set of clear action steps you can take right now. The very first thing you absolutely must do is check your payment schedule. Determine which payment group you belong to based on the relevant birth date. If your date falls between the 21st and the 31st, get out your calendar and mark down October 22nd as your payment day. The second critical step, particularly if you've been receiving paper checks, is to call the Social Security Administration without delay. Yes, I know the wait times are going to be brutal, but this is a step you simply cannot afford to skip if you want to continue receiving your benefits without interruption. Your third step is to ensure that all of your direct deposit information on file is current and accurate. The easiest way to do this is to log into your My Social Security account on the official website, SSA.gov, and personally verify that your banking information is correct down to the last digit. Fourth, if you do not receive your payment on your scheduled date, remember the protocol. Wait 3 full business days, then contact your bank first, and only after that should you contact Social Security. And the fifth step is specifically for SSI recipients who are getting 2 checks this month. Budget with extreme caution. Do not spend both payments right away under the assumption that you will get another one in early November. Your next regular payment after October 31st will not arrive until December, so you need to make that money last. Look, I want to be completely real with you. This government shutdown is making an already challenging situation significantly harder for everyone. You are now forced to deal with severely limited customer service, widespread confusion about payment dates, and major systemic changes to how your checks are even distributed. For so many of you, this Social Security payment isn't just a bit of extra money, it's your entire lifeline. It represents your rent payment, your ability to buy groceries, and your access to life-saving medication. You simply cannot afford to have delays or mistakes with these funds. That is precisely why it is so critically important that you take proactive steps now. Don't wait until you've already missed a payment to start making calls and trying to figure out what went wrong. Get ahead of any potential problems by being informed and prepared. But through all this uncertainty, here is the one thing I want you to hold on to and remember. Your Social Security payments are protected by law. Despite the shutdown, despite the staffing shortages, despite all of the political chaos happening in Washington, your payment is secure and it is coming. The SSA has made a firm commitment to maintaining the payment schedule, and that is a promise you can rely on. You have worked your entire life and paid into this system to earn these benefits. If you're on disability, you are courageously dealing with daily challenges that most people can't even begin to imagine. If you're a surviving spouse, you have endured the profound loss of someone you love. These benefits are rightfully yours, and they will arrive. As we start to move past October and look toward the end of the year, please continue to keep a close eye on your payment dates for November and December. Things can get especially tricky around the holiday season, with weekends and federal holidays often affecting the regular payment schedule.